Seguli. Nawahaskano. It's our greeting, means thank you for being well. Isha na dogus. I just said, you're the best. Is that true? And you are. So, I wanted to thank several people here, for the work that they've been doing over this period of time. First of all, the Parliament for giving us this time for our people to speak. Our people being the native people here, this Turtle Island. And also, I want to thank the firekeepers who have been keeping that fire going. And they've done a very good job. And I want to thank the volunteers. These volunteers, I'd still be lost if it wasn't for them. This is a huge building. Thinking about that, this man, Joseph Smith, he started a journey not far from our country, not far from our village, the Onondaga Nation, probably 75 miles or so away from where he started his journey. And he didn't start that long ago. And I'm amazed at the building that is here. So he found his way all the way here. But really, he understood the terms of persecution. It wasn't a voluntary move. It was a move that they had to do. And so our people have suffered the same relocation. That's a kind word. That's a kind term. Relocation. It's making new names for how people treat one another, and we call that ethnocide now, when you remove a people from their land and make them some other place, imposing on other people on other lands. So we have a history, and the journey that Joseph Smith made here is long, and built a place where only our Ute, Paiute brothers and Shoshone brothers and the nations who reside here knew how to live here. It's a hard land if you don't know how to live here. So over this journey that we've been making, the indigenous people, when we went to Geneva in 1977, Francois was there, I don't know how many other people here who were there when we went to Geneva in 77 on a quest for justice for our people, trying to find a place that would listen to our stories. And it was an amazing journey for us. And we thought when we left that we were going to come to this great place of justice. And surely when they heard our stories that they would bring peace and justice to us. It was like the Wizard of Oz. We were going to Oz, and Oz knew everything, the all-knowing. And we got there, and it was very similar. It was very similar. The wizard wasn't all that smart, and he was instructing us, or instructing Dorothy on how to get back home. And he said, the problem lies to the west. And there were witches in that story. And had the good witch of the north. And you heard about the good witch of the south, but you didn't see her. And then you heard about the wicked witch of the west. And the wicked witch of the east was killed when a house landed right on her. So there's a corollary there about the wicked witch of the west, and who was that? And what was the purpose of that story? And who wrote that story? Mr. Baum, who grew up about 20 miles away from Onondaga Nation. And he didn't like our people. He didn't like Indians. He turned out to be, an editor for Rapid City News. And he was writing about what they had to do with these native people. And he wrote the story of Oz. And what was the wicked witch? And how was she conquered, I would say? How was she defeated? Everybody knows the story about the Wizard of Oz, right? You know the story. And she was conquered. Well, it was quite a journey that Dorothy had. And she was having to deal with the Wicked Witch's support group, or minions, and who were they? They were flying monkeys. And who was the Tin Man? And who was the Scarecrow? Well, the Scarecrow represented the farmers, didn't have any brains. And the Tin Man represented labor, didn't have any heart. And Dorothy represented American people. And the whole idea of Kansas was to bring water to Kansas. And that was the whole idea. In order to do that, you had to defeat the Wicked Witch of the West. And who was the Wicked Witch of the West? Well, nature. Nature. You're going to defeat nature. That was the mindset of the times. We're talking 1890. And who was the minions then supporting the Wicked Witch of the West? Well, they were flying monkeys, you remember? And guess who they were? They were us. That's your story. And you're going to defeat nature? And how are you going to defeat nature? They said with water. You remember? Water landed on a witch and she just went down. That's a good fairy tale, if you look at it that way. But if you look at it with the intent that was written for at the time, then you understand. Because there wasn't any media then. There was only written words. No radio, no TV. So those written words were very, very important, and they know how to do that. So anyway, here we are. Nature not defeated. Nature is coming pretty hard right now. The Wicked Witch is not so wicked. And I always appreciate the fact that we have this relationship with the whole earth and all of the animals of the earth, and monkeys are good relatives. All the natural world, lives in a state of grace. They do what they're supposed to do. They live in a state of grace. It's just us who have the option. It's just us who can be good or bad every day. There's a spiritual center we have. It's right down here. And the whole idea is don't get too far this way, don't get too far that way every day, because we have that option. And, with 85 years of experience of living here, I've exercised that option on both sides. So I know how powerful it can be. And so the discussion that has been going on here, and I'm so pleased that our people have an opportunity to speak for themselves and to present themselves and to understand that, yes, we do work with nature. Yes, we do. Indeed, we do. And we understand that authority. And we understand the spiritual forces behind that as well. We're old people. We've been here a long time. And I'm always pleased to hear our elders when they speak. My brother here, and he opened this morning. It makes me feel good because he's speaking on our behalf. And we speak on behalf of the natural world. That's who we are. We do ceremonies. We do them good. We know how, and we do them. Right now, in the longhouses of the Iroquois, a ceremony going on as we speak right now. And I should be home with that. But they said this is important as well. Go see what's going on. Help if you can. And so that's what we do, and that's what I'm trying to do here, be helpful, whatever I can. And hear and learn. Diversity is probably the most important element of nature, diversity. Very, very different forms of life, but everyone related, all connected. And then the diversity of our people, human beings, species. As I was pointed out the other day, we come in all colors. We're all colors. Still people, like dogs. Dogs come in all colors, all shapes, all sizes. They're still dogs. They still get together, and we can the same way. We can change blood, whether you're black or white or yellow or red, whatever color you want to be, or you can change blood with one another. You can't get closer than that. We're related. We're relatives. And we should treat one another that way, with respect. If there was one law that I know of on this Turtle Island that was everywhere and all the time, that was the law of respect. Respect was the law. It was a rule. Respect for everything. Respect for all life. Respect for the future. Respect for the land. Respect for the water. Respect for yourself. A law. Never written. No judge. A law. Respect. I think they're telling me I gotta go. And I respect that. But for you people here who have stood the course of these days, you saw the diversity, you saw the many cultures and songs. It was a great evening last night, at the Tabernacle. Is it the Tabernacle? They call it. Beautiful event. All the women, children, singing, cultures, dances. And it was like that here. I saw so many people. I learned. And I saw our own people. I saw our own people stand. And I saw our own people speak. And Francois was with us, in 1977. We went to Geneva. He's one of the originals. Orville, he was taking care of home base, like we all do. And so here we are. And what is it that we've come to a conclusion about here is that something has to be done. Something has to be done collectively, that nature is now moving in a very hard direction, that our species has pulled a trigger, we've released and affected a system. It's a huge system, and you can't fix a system. You have to adjust to a system. And the system is on a move, and the ice is melting. Uncle, who just reminded you of that, the ice is melting, he gave that story to us in 1990, and we gave it to the UN in 1990. And we said, the ice is melting all around the world, not just in the north, everywhere. And that's serious, because it's changing, and we're all going to be affected. So my question to you is, how do you educate, instruct 7.3 billion people as to their relationship to the earth? Because if you don't understand that, and you don't understand that, and you don't abide those laws, you will suffer consequence. All. No one is exempt. It's going to be very, very democratic. Even the 1%ers are going to get suffering from here. No one is exempt. And so when we think of our children, and we think of this 7 generations, and that what we were told, our instruction from the great peacemaker 1,000 years ago or more, when you sit in council for the welfare of the people, think not of yourself, think not of your family, or even your generation. You, the leaders and the people, make your decisions on behalf of 7 generations coming. Instruction of responsibility. So, are the leaders of the world today making decisions on behalf of 7 generations or on behalf of 1%? And what are you going to do about it? That's the question. What are you going to do about it? We know what they're going to do about it. So leaving here then, we leave here with a mission, which has always been there. Work hard for the children, work hard for the future. And be careful who you choose as your leaders. You know, our traditions, our elders are there for life. And they accept that responsibility. It's a lifetime. And I'm nothing but a runner. I just seem to have outlived everybody else. So I just do the running for the nation. I'm nothing spectacular about my memory or anything, but I know the mission, and I'm dedicated to that. And I am concerned. And I know that there are enough energy and enough people and just barely enough time to make the change that has to be changed if we're going to have a future for our children. So that's my message to you. Get out there. Stand up. Just do it. Just do it, because we don't have a lot of time. Time now is a major factor for our existence. And I can guarantee you, you talk about Indian prophecies, we got a lot of prophecies. But here's a guarantee one. If you don't do something now, you're going to suffer a lot of consequence. So collectively, as a species, as a family, with responsibility, you choose your right leaders. And if they're not going to do what you say, remove them, and you take charge. The people, you have the authority You have the responsibility, and you also have the power. Thank you. All right.